psychology almost a modern way of understanding the mind, like you're talking?
Yes, psychology is another way of understanding, but even in psychology, it does not propose people who are suffering from mental diseases to understand the mind. They just try to give some cure physically and certain advices to that particular incident. They are not revealing the full secrets of the mind because they have not studied it, maybe. So what you have to do is that if you want to be psychologically fit, you have to understand the chemistry of the mind. Right? Once you are thorough with the user manual, you will be untouched. There is no magic here. If you do hours of meditations, closed eye, seated meditation, it will not help you to understand the mind. Yes?
How do they get the user's manual?
The user manual is in you. And my user manual is in me. But there's a good part. There is no difference between the chemistry of your mind and my mind. So if I have read the user manual of mine, I am in the capacity and I am in the position to reveal those secrets to you. Do you understand? So once I reveal the secret, two things will happen. Because now you have already have the experiences with your emotions. So when I say certain things at this session, maybe you might have already come across this thing. You will get this thought, aha, this is what he was talking about. I have experienced this. Haven't you got that? Then that means with the knowledge that I transfer to you, you get it with experience because you have previously experienced it. But certain things that I am revealing right now, you have no experience yet. But after this session, you will go back to your life and you will engage in your day-to-day activities and you will experience something. Then you will recall, aha, this is the one he was talking about. That is how I can help you to read your own user manual. Because your user manual and my user manual is one and the same. Do you understand? Yes.
Is loneliness a thing? Is it unique to individual? Is there any common ground, common elements or things of different people?
Now, as I said, your mind and my mind, from chemistry, it is one and the same. Right? So the emotions that your mind express and the emotions that my mind express, also one and the same. Right? So the noble silence or the loneliness that I am talking about, right? Where the status of mind which is untouched from any externalities, it's also one and the same. So the noble silence or the loneliness that you are going to reach, you are going to accept one day, and the noble silence and the loneliness that I am going to accept one day will be one and the same. That is why the people say that all these religions are connected from one point.
So your loneliness and my loneliness are the same.
Yes.
So I do not have my own loneliness.
Well, you will have your own loneliness as long as you separate yourself from the rest. Did you understand that? I will give you give you an example. Now you have a name, I have a name. You have a set of data about your identity and I have a set of data of my identity. So we are going to play a game. I am going to throw out each of my identities to the floor and you are also going to throw out each of your identities to the floor in front. That means you are losing that particular identity. I am also losing that particular. I am throwing my name out. You will also throw your name out. That is one of the major identities that we have. And I am a Sri Lankan, that is an identity. You're an American, that is one of your identities. You're going to throw it out. Likewise, we are going to throw out all the identities that we have to identify ourselves out. If we do not have any identities as such remaining inside, who are you and who am I? That is the loneliness I'm talking about. You and me are at noble silence at that point.
So therefore, you didn't answer my question. Is loneliness...
Sometimes I do that.
Is loneliness unique to an individual or is it common?
No, it's one and same.
Oh. You have to answer.
Yes.
I'm still struggling in my head to understand the difference between this untouched and emotions. For me, I can't. If you say untouched, I imagine no emotions. Is that the same thing?
Don't struggle. Stop struggling.
I like to struggle.
Now, I just drank a sip of water from this glass. It has a different taste. Right? I will describe it using many terminology. Will you ever understand the taste?
No. Not unless I've experienced the same thing.
Yes. So you drink a sip of water. Then you will understand. Until that, don't struggle. From there, to assume what is the taste of this water. It will be a struggle. Yes.
This may be a play on words. For me, I think there is a difference between loneliness and solitude. I don't know if they are synonymous to you, but for me, loneliness has a negative implication. To me, it implies that you want company, but you cannot get it, so you feel lonely. But when I feel with solitude, it's something that I actively seek to be away from the others.
Good point. I will propose something. So you just erase the memory about loneliness. You use the word solitude. Even though we are talking about one and the same. You can use any word you want. As like the taste of this water, I can use either call this taste as loneliness, you can call it as solitude, one can call it as heaven, one can call it as paradise, one can call it as nirvana, one can call it as noble silence. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That is what has happened here. All of us are seeking for something, but we are using different terminologies. It doesn't matter. It's not wrong. Because this language is so primitive in front of this huge mechanism. It's so primitive, it's very difficult to describe the chemistries. I'm trying to use the best possible words to describe this chemistry. Now let's say, when I say anger, do I do a justification to that? Anger is a feeling. Right? Now, I will teach you some other secret about the mind. In your mind you have thoughts, don't you? You have thoughts. And in your mind you have emotions. What is the difference between thoughts and emotions?
For me, thoughts are like words in my head. Emotions have no words.
Thumbs up. Thoughts are always associated with a language. Emotions will never be associated with a language. So thoughts, that's what I'm talking right now. But emotions, it's very difficult to explain. Now let's say I have burnt my hand. I can express the pain, but would you ever feel the pain? No. Would you ever feel the pain that I am undergoing? No. Do you understand? So don't give much value to words. Words are so primitive. Words can only describe the level of thoughts. In your mind, there is another level. That's the emotion level. That emotion level is the most closest place to noble silence, not your thoughts level. Thoughts level is like, now if you take the sea, right, the deep sea, at the top you will find currents, waves, there will be typhoons, right? But when you go into deep, what will you find? Tranquility. It will never be touched from the wind. No waves. Still water. Thick, still, dark water. Your mind is also like that. The levels of thought is where you find all these waves, where you struggle to ride your boat. If you just go a little bit into depth, there is no struggle to row your boat, but you need a submarine. That is the level where the emotions are. Then you can go to far further down. That is where the noble silence is. Now there's a huge problem with this language, because now when I am a very active person on social media. So I put posts using words. Right? Now recently, yesterday was a Hindu religious day, Mahashivaratri. Right? It's been dedicated to Lord Shiva. So I put a message on my Facebook profile where Gautam Buddha has resorted to the term Shiva in one of his discourses. Right? So he says, if you follow this particular path, you will finally accompany with Shiva. Right? So then there was a huge uproar from the local Buddhists. I am preaching Hinduism, wearing a robe. A single word can touch thousands of minds. Just think how powerful I am in Sri Lanka. I am the most powerful person in Sri Lanka. I can burn thousands heads from a simple word. That is where you will end up if you just ride your boat on the surface. You are struggling with thoughts. So I feel so sorry about those people, but can't help. So once you master your mind, you will be the most powerful being in the universe. You can touch all these minds. Only if you want. Because the desire to touch external things have already gone once you have understood your mind. You will do it only for the purpose of revealing the truth to them, to letting them to understand the reality. Yes.
My question is that we are social creatures and we do a lot of different ways of relating to all the different people in our lives. We have emotions for all of those people, and yet we have to use words in order to communicate with each other. Oftentimes the words get in the way. If we feel emotion, we're trying to we really don't know how to do that very well. So that seems to me that's an area of concern. As we watch our children grow up, have grandchildren, friends change. How to maintain that honesty, relating to them.
How to create the verbal mindfulness.
Right.
The linguistic mindfulness. I'll teach you. Now I told you, you have a discrimination from inside about the emotions. Good emotions and bad emotions. So that is applied to a certain depth of your sea. Now you are talking about the shallow. In that also you have a discrimination. Good words and bad words. You have given different values to each word. Now if you are being addressed as my lady, you are so happy. If one being addressed as a fool, will be dissatisfied. What is the reason for that? Different values being given to different words. So understand that. That is also a secret of the mind. That is a habit of our mind. We are giving different values to different words. Now if I call you in filth in Sinhalese, will you ever understand? But it is still filth. You will laugh. Now if you go to an infant and say, if you scold at an infant, would he cry? He will laugh. Because their mind has not been evolved to the level where they give different values to different words. So if you are made upset by somebody's statement, that means you have given a different value to that.
Then you say we should be in the infant stage. That's the end result. We cheat something.
Don't you like that? Where there wasn't any stress. Your everything what you need was taken care by the nature. You did not think about what you're going to have tomorrow morning. I think that is the best place to be. Every one of us wants to go back to our childhood. We can go there. Once when I was here at this center, I was addressed from a very bad word, using a very bad word. There is no English term for that. Let's say I was addressed as a fool. Somebody told me, "You're a fool." I said, "Yes, I'm a fool." I just accepted that fact. Why do I think I'm wise? If I have an opinion that I'm wise, only, and if I reject the fact that I'm a fool, only, his word can make me upset. Right?
So what was your thinking at that time being called fool?
I was actually thinking, frankly, yes, I have done a lot of foolish things in my life. So there's a point for his addressing, right? Why should I call? Now, I have done a lot of foolish things. In those moments, I was not wise. So I'm a fool, yes. And I look at myself, if I look at myself wise, what about the moments I was doing foolish things? And if I am looking at myself as a fool, what about the moments that I was talking wise things? I'm a mixture of both. That is me. I'm a mixture of both anger and compassion.
So you form opinion of yourself, so you're indifferent to what you being called.
I do not form an opinion, I would use this word, I do not know what the hell I am. I can be everything.
Is it in another words that I didn't quite get at your last sentence. So you say you know, are you telling say you know who you are, or?
In the same time I say I don't know who I am. Because if I know who I am, it's an opinion.
Okay.
It's based on data which I have. I'm just recycling old garbage. If I say I don't know who I am, it's another recycling process of old garbage.
So that's my question. What exactly did you think when people...
Status of no opinion.
No opinion. Okay. So that's pretty much the reaction to everything. That's just an example.
Well, if I am capable of doing that, I am successful.
Yeah. How long?
Because that means I am untouched from any expression, from any angry face, from any word. I am untouched. I have not poured my happiness to anybody else. From inside, irrespective of all the things, bad things being called to me, I am untouched.
How long took you to get near that point?
It depends on two things. The first thing is, you should meet somebody where you have to be advised about how to do it. Secondly, it depends on you whether you have enough wisdom to understand what he is saying. You might meet someone who is capable of teaching you, but if you are not wise enough, you will not understand a single word. Sometimes you will have enough wisdom, but you will not meet the proper teacher. Two things.
Can things be good and bad at the same time?
It's always like that. When something is good, bad is also been created. This world always works on a duality. That's what I see. That has been told physically, it was identified by Isaac Newton. Every action has a reaction. That observation is correct, not only to the physical world, even to the non-physical world. If you generate a positive energy, even without your knowledge, even without an effort, a negative energy will also be created. Now, if let's say you have a rubber band, I have a rubber band. If I pull one end to one side, the tension will not only be in this hand. You will feel the tension in this hand also. It's something like that. If I am to say another example, let's say there is a flat terrain. You want to bore a hole. So you're boring a hole and you're putting soil out and keeping next to it. Once you have a pit, you have a soil mound next to it. Do you understand?
So part of your own personal knowledge then has to be aware of both the good and the bad that happens in your life at each point. How do you create some of that yourself?
Well, now if somebody perfectly understands the duality, he doesn't have to think about it. He knows whatever I do, something being created from behind. You have to come into that understanding, that's all. It's not a mantra to chant each and every day. It's an understanding.
But what happened? You never met
A teacher.
have a chance, the wiser person, and no matter how you meditate, you think
Meditation will not take you anywhere.
okay, so you do need to have those two things.
Two things.
But I'm thinking, if you never met that,
So unfortunate.
okay.
You have to seek.
Yes, you have to seek, you will find. They are everywhere. They are everywhere. Don't stop the search. That's why people are doing this search. Why do you think you travel too much? You are searching for something. That teacher is happiness. He might be a person or he might not be a person. What you seek for is happiness.
That could be the combination of your experience. Could it be possible?
Sorry.
Instead of when you say physical person, could it be the combination of your experience?
Experience, yes.
Yeah.
Self-enlightenment. It can happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I'll tell you why it can happen. Now, do you think you can hear me? You cannot hear me. What you hear from me is just a sound wave. When I utter a word, it touches your membrane in your ear and it will trigger your nerves and it will open your own data, your own language. I am just passing a sound wave. What you understand will depend on your database. You will never come into the same understanding that I have just by hearing me. If your database and my database is one and the same, then you will understand what I say. So I know that. So I don't expect anybody to understand what I say. I have no expectation as such. That's the first thing I mastered. I'm dealing with different data.
There's a lot of movement in the United States now called being mindful. Classes talking about being mindful. How does that compare to what you're talking about?
Well, I cannot criticize without analyzing what they teach and what they preach. But I know it's very rare to find out the message that we tell you. Because here there is no activity for you to do. What we propose you to understand your own mind, that you can do it while you work, while you eat. That is the mindfulness that we want. We don't want to put you into an artificial effort to be mindful in your activities. No. Just let your life flow as usual. Do not change anything. If you are an alcoholic, just because I said so, don't stop drinking. That's useless. Once you understand your mind, you will find out what is important for you. Then you will do what is best for you. This is not because just I say. I don't change your life.
So you talked about finding someone to help teach you. Do you look at that from everybody around you in your life? Or do you talk about really getting a specific person that you can talk to?
Everyone will not be wise enough to teach you. But if you are wise enough, if you have a lot of wisdom, maybe every moment in your life will be a teacher for you. Right? But that level of wisdom is very rare in this world. Wisdom means not anything magic. Wisdom means the attention that you give inwardly. Now, when you're being mistreated by a staff member in Marriott or by a member in your tour staff, you will always give the blame to him. So you're always giving attention to the outside personality. You will never look into what is wrong inside me. If you look into what is inside you very often, that means you are very wise. If you do it less often, that means your wisdom is less. That is wisdom. Wisdom is not magic. If you are wise, you will not blame the outside world.
Explain the difference between wisdom and knowledge.
In knowledge, you are always giving attention to the outside world. You are studying science. Science of what? Moon. Science of sun. Science of galaxies. Science of stars. Science of maths. Knowledge. External knowledge gathering. And something which is not your own experience. As long as it is not your experience, it will keep as knowledge. Even the spiritual things that I utter here, if it is not within your experience range, it will go there as a knowledge. Do you understand? Because it is not something which feels to you.
Is wisdom built on knowledge?
Wisdom, no, I don't think wisdom will build on knowledge. Wisdom is something different from knowledge. It depends on the level of effort that you have given to look inside. Only mindfulness will help you to trigger your wisdom.
So, where do we get wisdom? If wisdom, we have wisdom. Do we born with wisdom, or do we acquire as we live? How do we have wisdom? Does it just come to us?
Wisdom is there from your birth, and you can develop it.
How do we develop that?
It is by this discussion. This discussion. This discussion is always about your mind. So you're not paying attention to anybody else. You're paying attention to your mind. If you pay attention more into your mind, your wisdom will develop.
So is wisdom give us the sense what is good, what is bad, what is evil, what is not evil? Do they give this
No.
type of value, or they just give me what?
Only the knowledge will give you that differentiation of bad and good, values and invalues. Wisdom will not give you any discrimination. You will not find anything to be discriminated. Only the knowledge will give values to different things in this world.
This is hard to understand.
I'll tell you, I'll give an example. Now, in Sri Lankan culture, right, in Sri Lanka, being gay is illegal, right? And according to our cultural teachings, from our upbringing itself, we have been told being gay is bad, it's a sin. So it's a knowledge which have come to our mind that being gay, lesbian, transgender is a sin. So who created it? Who gave that negative value to being gay? Our knowledge. From where did we get that knowledge? From the society that we live in. But there are certain countries, their culture is different. In those cultures, the kids were never told that being gay is a sin. So they don't have that negative value. So they don't have that discrimination. Why? The knowledge is different. The knowledge will create the differences between our understandings.
Is the difference between the opposite of wisdom, is that foolishness or something else?
Yes, you can use that term. It's a nice word. There are a lot of words.
So wisdom is partly about understanding, having a bigger understanding of the implications of your actions.
Not about actions, about your mind. Wisdom has nothing to do with actions.
So if I have a decision to make and I'm wise, I'll make a decision that will have a good outcome. If I'm foolish, I'll make a decision which have a bad outcome or have any outcome, we don't know. So is that a different thing that I'm talking about?
You will decide what to do based on your knowledge, not on wisdom. As I said in the first place, wisdom is the attention that you give it inwardly. It doesn't let you to judge on anything or decide on anything, to form an opinion inside. It's just an understanding inside. Your activities, the way you speak will depend on the knowledge that you have. Whether you speak calmly or whether you speak angrily, it depends on the way that you have been brought up by the society. You know that, right? In certain places, if the family background is bad, then they talk in a different way. That is because they have been taught to do so. That is the upbringing. Your activities will be decided by the knowledge that you have. Wisdom is something different. Wisdom will only take you to noble silence. It won't take you anywhere.
Could it be possible a person has no wisdom?
Maybe if the level of wisdom is so less, it can be referred to as no wisdom.
Can you tell that this person's wisdom's level by talking to that person?
Not exactly, but generally, yes. If someone questions me about their own problem, I know they are wise. If someone questions me about somebody else, I know the wisdom is less. It's very easy. So as I was trying to tell you now, the assistance that I can give you is that now, as I told you, what you have to do is to increase the level of understanding that you have about your mind. So now you know that we record this session. We do it for a particular purpose. We have a collection of these records available on YouTube in one of our channels, where we discuss about the human mind and its secrets, its chemistries in different ways. Because one cannot finish about talking this from a small session like this. This is years and years of knowledge. Right? There are thousands of secrets. Because this mind has been evolved for centuries, millennia. So a lot of secrets inside. So we try to reveal it gradually. So those discussions are available on YouTube. So if you think that I should give some time to read this user manual, so I suggest you, once in a while, once a month, just listen to one discussion. Just listen to it and forget it and do whatever you want. That's it. Right? Because I know this should be a natural process. If mind is a natural process, cleansing of the mind also should be a natural process. As I told you, from your bare hands you cannot stop waves. But if the Mother Nature wants, it can create tsunamis, or either it can stop waves. If the nature wants. So make it a natural process. Just listen to it and forget it. Do engage in your regular activities. And those discussions will help you in this way. As I said earlier, once you listen to it, you will get the idea, aha, this is something that I have experienced in my life. Thereafter, it won't be a knowledge. It will be something that you have experienced. Or either the rest will go there as a knowledge. Don't worry about it. Don't try to remember even. You live your life and the messenger will come to you and tell, okay, this is what you have been taught that day. So isn't it good? There's nothing to do. No hard work. No any extra effort. Do not struggle. Struggling, giving an extra effort will not take you anywhere. It might give you degrees, PhDs, professional qualifications, but not enlightenment. This is a reverse path. So, do we have any more questions? Okay, so then we'll wind up the session. So I think that this was a fruitful discussion for you, was it? Okay, right. We will share our contact details and the links to our YouTube channel, because we have arranged a nice cup of cinnamon tea for you to enjoy, organic, grown in our own plantations here at the center. So if you come back to Sri Lanka, you're invited, you're most welcome to our center to pay a visit. You can stay with us and learn more about the mind. It's always a discussion. And also, I would like to wish you a blissful life ahead. And don't try to change your life. And don't struggle with your emotions. It's a natural phenomena. Let it pass. In your countries, there are seasonal changes. Now you're here because the winter is there. When there is winter, do not call for summer. Accept winter. When you're in summer, do not ask for winter. Accept summer. Right? Because natural phenomena, that's the only thing that we can do. So thank you very much for participating, and I bless you all that you will one day will realize your mind and you will achieve this noble silence soon. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.